and I know I was born for this. I know I was born for this. Don't care for the critics, my words are like physics, a force that they can't stop. They just don't get it, I think they forget I'm not done till I'm on top. I know I was born for this. I know I was born for this. I believe we can write a story.
Hello, everyone. How you doing? Glad to be back at it once again. Wise Leadership Solutions is still sponsoring this podcast we call Words from the Wise. And, of course, the Vanguard High School Navy Junior ROTC out of Ocala, Florida. You know, today is another special event because I got the opportunity to bring a guy on the show that served with me on board the USS Ashland LSD-48 out of Sasebo, Japan. He's been doing a lot of things throughout his life, and I've always wanted to know kind of how he got to where he was today because I've been following him via the social media game since we went different ways, like way back in 2018. So without further ado, let me bring him to the stage. Mr. Shears right here. How you doing, Mr. Shears?
I'm doing good. I'm blessed. No complaints on my end. How about yourself?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Bro, I've been thinking, like, what am I going to call Shears on this show? Like, am I going to say, like, Martaveric? Is that your first name? Is that how you say it?
Well, no, so Marteveric, but I do get Martaveric a lot, but not Marteveric, like Maverick.
Marteveric. Okay, got it. And then I remember you used to go by Dijon or whatever it was back in the day. You know, your little rap, you had your rap career going, that one night in Thailand video.
Yes, sir. Yes,
bro, I remember the first time I saw that video, I was like, oh no, these are all my sailors. What are they doing?
I definitely remember it. And look, and I'm glad we played it pretty safe because I had no expectations of the video going or circulating around the ship like it did.
Oh, it sure did.
We were good.
Oh, it sure did, bro. The Chiefs gave me, they're like, hey, you seen that video that Shears did? Like, what video? All right, so do you go by Marteveric or do you go by Dijon or are you going by Shears? What do you go by today, bro?
You know what? It's so funny that you said that because I was sitting there thinking the same thing. I was like, man, I used to call him CMC. And that's always the weird transition when you go out. You know what I mean? When you get out and it's like, all right, well, what do you call the people who once your leaders? Like, what do you call now that everything is more relaxed? But to answer your question, nowadays I'm leaning into the first name more, Marteveric. And it's funny because like you said, during that time when we were serving together, of course, going by Shears. You know what I mean? That's what I had to go by. But on the outside, I was leaning more into the Dijon. Now that's my middle name. And at the time, that was, not at the time, but when I'm leaning more into the stage name or the music, I lean more into the middle name, Dijon.
All right, man. Well, definitely call me Gary, bro. Definitely. And you know, I went through a lot of time throughout my life when people started using my first name, especially in the military context. It was weird to me, bro. Because I'm like, y'all don't know me like that. What you doing using my first name, right? Because I mean, there's a different part of you check into when you're in that military space. You know, so when I made Chief is when people started calling me Gary, and I'm just like, what? No. You ain't my cousin, you ain't my aunt, you ain't my uncle. Like, but I had to recognize that it really was who I am. And then it's also growing up, maturing, and recognizing that your first name is your business, your official name, right? As you move. All right, man. Well, I'm looking forward to getting into this, bro, because I don't know what you remember about me, but let me tell you what I remember about you, bro.
Yes.
Okay. You used to clean the P-way outside my office quite often, right? That was like y'all birthing where y'all slept at. The OS was like right down the P-way. Yep. So you would always be in that P-way right there by my office. And we would just have some of the funniest conversations, man, because we both liked a lot of the same music. And then you happen to come from, I believe, Tennessee.
Yes.
Right? Memphis area. And I'm a big fan of 3 6 Mafia. I'm a big fan of 8 Ball, MJG. Pretty much everybody from out of that area. And what's funny is I didn't grow up listening to that music. I grew up listening to like hip hop and whatnot. But I didn't get turned on to the South till the military.
Okay.
Right? Because a lot of my friends was from like Texas, Tennessee, or whatever it was. But we would just sit up there talking, and I think I would trip you out because you'd be like, this guy knows a lot of stuff.
I was just about to say that. So I was going to let you know that, you know, during that time, you know what I mean? I was still in that junior sailor state. I was, just hitting my 3rd year and whatnot. So I kind of, I had been, I think there was a CMC before you got there. So, you get acclimated to the Navy, to the ranks, and, just how certain ranks and certain people interact with you. And one thing that I can say is when you came to the ship, you stood out to me, being able to have those conversations and to be able to, what's the word I'm looking for? To relate in a way. And that instantly became a way that we could relate. And it instantly even put me in a place to where it made me comfortable to be able to, chop it up with you. And, so it really put that on a different dynamic. Yeah.
No, we connected, bro, for sure. And we connected via social media probably pretty quick because, again, my thing about people, and I smell talent a mile away, man. The Navy trained me to do it. It's one of my God-given talents. I have this ability to recognize talent, and I smelt. I mean, you got it all over you, right? You just got all. And I've been watching. I wanted to say, like, all right, where's this guy gonna go, man? Because again, I saw that video that one night in Thailand, and I was like, not for nothing, that's a good song, bro. Like, that's a good song.
Thank you.
I'm gonna take apart the part where there's all my sailors. I'm not gonna worry about all that.
Yeah,
right? Good song. And so I was really curious to where you go. And I'm very, very proud of where you've gone, man. I've been watching you. And I saw that announcement you just made the other day about you presenting awards at that awards show out there. What that award show gonna say for me?
So it's the Emmys. So it'll be the Emmys.
I know that part.
Yeah. Nah, the Emmys. Yeah. Now I guess blessed with so I've been working. I've been doing the Emmys, the Oscars, and a bunch of different events. I would say I think the last 4 years that I've been out here in the LA area.
That's what you do.
Yeah, man. And I will be doing the winner's circle for the Academy Awards, the Emmys.
Good for you, man. All right, here we go. We're gonna get into it, bro. So are you born in Memphis?
Yes, born and raised in Memphis.
Born and raised in Memphis. And growing up, do you have brothers and sisters, or was it just you and your mom?
No, I have. I'm the only boy and the oldest out of all girls, out of 5 sisters. Yeah.
Okay, so you're the only boy but oldest with 5 little sisters.
Yep.
Right, and do you remember like growing up? Like, how was the age? Was there a big age difference between you and your little sisters, or y'all kind of close in age?
It was a big one. I think my oldest sister, we were 6 years apart, so it was like every sister after that was. And when it gets to the point, I'll be forgetting ages, so forgive me, but. The ages after that was very distant.
Well, you know what I've learned in my experience when that kind of stuff happens is typically mom, like again, my mom, when she had me, she was a teenager, right? Typically mom has a baby and she's like, oh dang, I gotta figure this out. And then there's a while before they figure out they decide they want to move on, have other children, whatever it is. So you get a unique experience because you get the first 6 years of your life with just you and your mom.
Yeah.
And then when the little ones come along, you also are a little bit older, that you can also be a contributing force to that as well, right? Because it ain't like you're 2 or 3, you're like 6, 7, 8. You can actually go get things, help out with things. Yeah. So do you remember being put in that position a lot as a young one? Or like you're kind of like stepping up as like not like the dad, but just as a role model for your little sisters?
No, for sure. And I can say I feel like that has been the whole experience, which has been a blessing. I say it's always funny because as my sisters were coming up, so my mom and dad got a divorce when I was 6 years old. So I was the only child with both of them that they had together. But then once they, started getting with other people, they started having, kids. So my mom ended up having 3 girls and my dad ended up having 2. And I remember every time that they would have a baby, I'll be like, okay, I want a brother. I'm not just wishing, oh, brother. And each time it was they were girls, and so I kind of had a chip on my shoulder growing up, like, man, I want a brother. My first child is gonna be a son. That's what I would always manifest. So even with having sisters, that put me in a position of being the sibling that everyone looks up to. I would guess so. I would think so. And how my sisters react to me, they do treat me as if, I am someone that they look up to. So so I definitely handled that growing up or held that.
Yeah, I mean, think about it, bro. When you joined the Navy, you joined the military, because you joined relatively right out of high school, I believe. That means your older sister was like 12, right? So that's, that's a big deal, right? Because then you're like doing big adult things. So, but let's get to that. When you're coming up in Memphis, you start doing music in high school, right?
Yes, yeah. Earlier, really, to be honest with you, earlier than that. Yeah, I started writing in elementary, figured out how to record my own music around 8th grade, middle school
Yeah.
time. So around 8th grade, middle school is when I actually started recording. And then I ended up getting signed to a little independent deal in high school out in Memphis.
So what was it about music that really drew you to it? Was it the opportunity that it presented? Was it the flavor of the music? Was it the energy of what your environment was? Like what was it about music that because you're a creative dude. I know that about you, right? You're just so you probably got this creative energy inside you that you got to get it out somehow.
No,
And
for
you
sure.
probably as a young one, like, well, rap and music is like very common.
Mhm.
Did you do athletics and stuff too? Or
That's
was you just purely into the arts?
that's the thing. I was never athletic.
Okay.
And so not being athletic, it it forced me to, because I wanted to stand out. I wanted to stand out some way.
Yeah.
Knowing that I was not good athletic wise, but growing up, especially in the black community and whatnot, you see that that's those are the kids that get the attention. If you can
Mhm.
ball, if you do football, when you coming up in school, those are the popular kids and whatnot. So I didn't have that on my side, but one thing that I always had a passion, like you say, for the creative space, for pop culture, and even outside of music. Music was the first love. And I kind of grew up in the little Bow Wow era, you know what I mean? Seeing
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
kids kind of come up, and once I was 6 and little Bow Wow was like 13, but being 6 years old and seeing a young black kid grow up and have the swagger, have the style, be able to have
Right.
the voice, and be able to have the platform that was outside of sports. I saw that and I'm like, I'm like, okay, well, maybe what he's doing is cool. Maybe, I like what he's doing. And so then I just
Yeah.
kind of threw myself in that before I even knew I was good. But like I said, I just knew it was pulling me. Uh,
Mm.
so like I said, as a kid, I was like, okay, well, I'll start writing little raps, and of course, they didn't start off, fire, and then they was very, elementary. But as I got older and whatnot, and then like I said, when I got in middle school, met a guy through church, and at church he was doing Christian rap, and he had kind of not perfected his craft, but kind of gotten to a point where he was known around the church and was dropping little mixtapes, Christian mixtapes. And so we got connected, and he told me, like, yeah, all you need is a laptop and a microphone and this software. And for Christmas, I asked my mom, and she went and invested in it. And so from there, just kind of taught myself how to record my music, how to layer my vocals, how to edit, and edit my vocals and whatnot. And so it just went from there.
Nice, man. Technology is a game changer. Again, I teach high school now. I work with a bunch of kids, and they watch these videos a lot. They listen to the podcast, of
Mhm.
course, former sailors, whatnot. But a lot of my students, and I'm always telling them, like, these cell phones in your pocket is access to the world, man. Like, you can do amazing things with a cell phone in 2025. And when you
Yes.
think back on your age, back when I'm a little Bow Wow, I'm thinking like early 2000s or even late 2000s. That was just beginning. Like you said, you need a laptop. Now you can do it all with an iPhone,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And it's incredible. But you got to have the commitment, you got to have the heart, you got to have the desire. And what most people don't have is you gotta finish what you start, right? Like if I say I'm gonna do this project, I'm gonna make this song, I'm gonna do it all the way to the best of my ability. You got to get that song done,
Yes.
right? How many people start a song and never finish the song?
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
Here you were in middle school finishing songs, or like you said in high school, getting signed by an independent label, right? Which is scouting for talent. And back in them days, yeah, they looking for people because if they find that next one to pop, they're ahead of the curve, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And in that, and in those same words, when you say, I well, nowadays technology, right? We got
Mm,
phones, and now it's to the point to where all of this equipment and all of the access to do all of this is cheaper. It is more obtainable compared to back then, mid 90s, early 2000s, mid
yeah.
2000s, all of that. Um, and in that, it's kind of like a pool. Yes, now is more obtainable and now it's cheaper, but guess what? Now is more people able to do it. So back then, where you was like, all right, well, people are out here looking for a specific thing, and if you got it, then you'll get an opportunity. Nowadays, it's kind of like everybody got it. Not really, but I'm saying, but now everybody has an opportunity to put themselves out there, right? And I think now with that, once I look back at the time that it has taken me to do it, like I said, I started when I was in elementary, started recording when I was in middle school, got signed in high school. Now I'm about to be 32 and still finding myself on this grind, which is, it is what it is. It's just the grind. And the name of the game is to keep going, and not giving up. But in times like this, I can truly say that is the hardest part, the easiest part, but the hardest part. Easiest part because, okay, now we got the equipment, we can get it done. But the hardest part is, but now you're competing with, especially with social media, you open the phone, now everybody has a platform. You know what I mean? So
for sure.
Yeah. So I can say that's one of the things that I'm battling with in this creative space, still doing it, now.
I bet. 100%, man. And I think that it's impressive. I always reawaken myself when I realize how many people are in the freaking world, bro. Like, I live in this place called Ocala, Florida. Everyone thought it was a small town. Trust me, you do not know everybody in this town, right? You might think you're out there. You might think you know the people. But it's so many people in the world. Like, as I talk to people that are out doing creative things, it's so many people, bro. And so when you think about your marketplace, or you think about the ears that can be, what I love this idea of making yourself easier to find for the people that don't even know they're looking for you yet, right? I heard that one and I was like, ooh, that one right there. That's what got me doing this. Truth be told, right? I was out here trying to work my little business thing, doing my leadership solution stuff, networking in real life with people. And then I was like, I heard this guy on YouTube say, make yourself easier to find for the people that are looking for you. And it's incredible, people that are in Europe, people that are overseas that are like hitting me up and are like following this channel or whatever it is. And I'm just like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And so you have this reality of the circles that you're moving in, but this digital ability, you could go worldwide, man. Really, you can. And what matters is that your product is good and what you're saying is real and it's authentic. And because AI can't really change that, right? And that's where I had people, I started making videos, right? Because I was doing business with some people and I wasn't really feeling them anyway. So I was already thinking about breaking ties. And they basically said, Gary, AI is going to change thought leadership. So posting stuff don't really matter. I was like, oh, you know what? You're right. Guess what? I can get up here on these conversations with people and we're going to drop bars. Like, we're just going to have these great conversations and we're going to have this really, really important things to share with each other. Because I know the conversations I have with people, and I talk to people that really inspire me, right? And then you chop it up, put it out there, and just who knows where it goes, right? And so I think that's one thing I would put to you. So what made you then, coming up through high school, why did you decide to up and join the military, bro?
Okay. Great question. Because the military was definitely never in my plans. And and especially coming up with this dream and goal of being, in the entertainment industry. But I just be honest with you. And it's kind of, and I'm kind of living in this space now. So growing up with this dream of being in the creative space hasn't been the easiest thing. For one, because growing up in Memphis, there was, in my opinion, there was never many opportunities for someone who wanted to come up in that creative space. We didn't have productions, and we didn't have people shooting movies and this and that. So it was always a far-fetched kind of idea. It was always like, oh, okay, we'll have a backup plan type of thing. Now that I'm out here in California, I talk to people like a lot of people out here grew up around like right down the street. They filming, TV shows and movies and such stuff like that. So where I was from, that was very irritating for me, especially having something on my spirit and something that was so strong and driving me. But I did what I could do. So, like I said, I started recording, taught myself how to record, networked, got myself in a position where I got signed to an independent deal. And this was like around high school. So that deal didn't go, we didn't blow up. We didn't, do anything like that. So as I was getting closer to graduating, that thought in my head about, okay, this is still a dream of yours. When you graduate, nothing is really going on out here. Where do you go? What do you do? And being from Memphis and not, really traveling much, you don't really have an idea. The only place that I had gone to was Florida. You know what I mean? Right. So I in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm going to move to Florida when I get out of, and then I had a homeboy who came to me and he brought me this brochure for this college called Full Sail University. It's in Winter Park, Florida. And it's a entertainment school, film, music, games, just the whole nine. Yeah. He brought me the brochure, and I instantly fell in love with it. I was instantly, my whole spirit was like, this is where you need to go. Brought it to my parents, and my parents were like, we don't got the money for that. So you have to probably go somewhere down the street, University of Memphis. And so I always knew that I didn't just want to go to college just to say, hey, I went to college, got a degree, and still found myself stuck in Memphis. So my granddad, he was old school Army, you know what I mean? And so he would always preach to me, oh, you need to join the Army, son. You need to do this, you need to do that. But every time he would talk to me, he would tell me stories about how folks was getting abused in the Army. Yeah, they used to hit us in the face with the butt of the gun. I'm like, all right, nah, I don't want to do that. No, so it was going in one ear and out of another. But I got to the point where, I just broke down, man, and I prayed to God. And I one day I just got so serious. I'm like, God, I need you to show me what it is that I need to do. Show me the directions. I was so lost. And man, and one day, and then it didn't happen the next day. It didn't happen the next week. But one day I was in the cafeteria at my high school, and I looked up and saw a Navy recruiter in the cafeteria. You know what I mean? And something in my spirit was like, go talk to her. Got to chopping it up with her, and she said one thing. She was, oh yeah, we paid for college. All right. I'm like, all right, so that's that. And then, she got to telling me the other stories. You know how the recruiters do. They tell you the military stories. Oh, yeah, I parted in Germany. So anyway, I started calculating all of this stuff. And I'm like, all right, well, maybe this can be my opportunity to because I always dreamed bigger. I always knew that it was a world bigger outside of Memphis. But like I said, I didn't grow up with those opportunities to travel. So it's like I knew it was out there, but I didn't really know to the extent. So I just kind of started calculating all that stuff in my head. And I was like, all right, well, I can get out of Memphis. I can travel the world. I can do this, do that, do that. And it was just one of them things. I just took a leap on faith and did it. And then, when you met me, out in Japan. And so when you saw that sailor out there shooting the videos and whatnot, that was that inner grind still in me. And it was hard. It was hard. It was days. It was so hard because, like I said, you take this kid who is just creative. Oh, this is what I want to do. And then you put them in the military where it's like, all right, this is your job. Like, yeah, that's cool, but this is the mission, right? So 7 years of that, living this life and living like, oh, okay, this is my obligation. This is what I do. I had to dig deep within myself and keep that version, that creative version of myself still alive. And taking, well, I know how to record. Like I said, in Memphis in middle school, I was recording in my closet. So what do? I invest in equipment. I'm in Ichigo Ichi 151 recording in the closet. You know what I mean? So the songs
you a young sailor, you got that money coming in. Yeah. But I mean, I would tell you the creative ones, when they come in the service, they struggle. Yes. They struggle, man, because and it's not that I'm not creative, it's that I was so institutionalized. And look, I was buck wild as a youngster, but it wasn't to be creative. It was just to be wild, right? It was just, I wasn't trying to do anything really constructive. I was just being wild, and a lot of my friends, but we didn't have the technology or whatnot at the time. But then looking back throughout my career, the people that would struggle the most are the ones that were always questioning, like, why are we doing that? It doesn't make no sense, right? Because creative people are innovators. and they're going to struggle when you're in this organization that doesn't care how innovative you can be. We're going to go clean the deck. We're going to go swab the deck. We're going to go take the trash out. It's very regimented what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And so whenever I meet people that are creative and they're struggling, I always talk to them about that, because I know that's what it is. You are doing something that goes against your genetic code, right? Your DNA tells you to be creative, and you're in the space. But like you said, there was a means to an end, right? You wanted that money for college. You wanted those experiences that were going to give you some more value in your music, in your structure, in your storytelling, right? You probably wanted to talk more about than just Memphis, and have those to tell people, I was in Thailand this one time, and this is what we did, and all that. So,
Yes.
But before we get to all that, was your first airplane ride to boot camp?
It was. Waukegan, Illinois.
So many of us. That's a true statement, bro. Like, so many of us are first ever. I'm talking about an airplane. So what did you think? Like, what did you think going to the airport, getting on that airplane? Was that a trip?
Yeah, it was. What was I thinking? It was weird, because I remember it hitting me that I'm 18 and this is my first time getting on a plane, and I know it's people who are older than me who have still never been on a plane. But I think at that time it was not a sad feeling, but it was one of them. It definitely hit me. I'm like, okay, why am I 18 just now getting on a plane?
Hey, bruh, for me growing up, I was taught that wealthy people got on airplanes. That's what I was taught. I remember one time my dad had to fly with my grandpa from Arizona to Utah, and they went on an airplane. And it was like this big deal, bro. Like, they was like, we got to get the money for his plane ticket. They got to go through all these things. And everybody was because everybody in my family, typically they would drive. It'd be 18-hour drive, but the gas money was cheaper than the airplane ticket, right? And so I remember thinking this was a thing that wealthy people did. And now it's like one of the main ways to travel.
Yeah.
But I think that was a generational change. And so here I can hear your story, but like, I've been trying to get this music thing going. I've been trying to make these different things happening. And I'm just now getting on an airplane for the first time at 18 and going on this journey of God knows what's going to happen next. Because, so I get all that. And when I got on the airplane, honestly, I was more worried about what happened when I got off the plane. I wasn't even afraid to be on the plane. I was just like, I'm going to boot camp, bro. This is about to be wild. Like, I don't know what to expect. There wasn't no good movies for Navy boot camp.
Nah.
It's not, right? You could watch like some Marine Corps stuff, or you could watch some military movie, but there wasn't nothing about no boot camp, right? And I don't know what I was expecting, but when you get off the plane, did you go to boot camp with other people?
I did, and actually people that I went with, a couple of people that I went to school with.
Okay, so that's cool. So you already had some people that you knew. So you guys were able to link up like in the airport and like walk through the terminal together. Because look, we do that real quick. Us in the military, we be out somewhere where we don't know nobody. Once we find out someone's a veteran or someone's in the military, we'll click up real quick. Like, all right, cool, man. We're together. We'll figure this thing out. And so you get to the USO in Chicago, Great Lakes. And did you have to wait there to get on the bus to go to basic training? You remember that?
Yeah, I did. Yep.
All right. So just go back to boot camp, and just for that period of time, did it meet your expectations, or were you completely caught off guard by what that experience was like?
Definitely.
Did you hate it or did you love it?
Wasn't caught off guard because I had done my research. And I guess the difference between you and I, when I was about to join, I had YouTube at my dispense. And so at that point, they were already kind of doing the behind the scenes videos of boot camp. So I had done my research and I had watched the videos and had already been told that it was nothing but a game, a mental game. So by the time I got there, I think my biggest thing was I kept getting told that, of course, once you get to the military, if you have never paid attention before, and if you have never done, you're going to do it now. And I think in my head, that was the biggest thing. Okay, just make sure you listen. Make sure you listen to what they say. Don't do anything that they didn't say, do. Don't do. So I think once I got that, and once I experienced okay, how does it feel with somebody telling you what to do? Can you do everything? Once I realized that, I was good. I think that was the biggest thing for me. Yeah.
That's good. A lot of people struggle with that, right? I mean, for me, I didn't struggle with that either. Like, I grew up in a place where I was used to listening to people. I had structure, and not only from mom, my dad, from my older friends, right? Like, I grew up in an environment that was militant, even though we weren't military, right? So I had no problem. And with the military, you give respect immediately because of the rank, even if you don't really know that much about them. Now, once you learn whether you like them or don't like them, then that's a different conversation. But at first, you're just gonna respect because they have a whatever. Now, did you come in undesignated, or did you already have a job when you joined the service?
No, I had a job already. I came in OS.
So you came in OS from the jump.
Yeah.
Good for you, bro. I ain't mad at you for that. That's awesome. But you know, a lot of people come in undesignated and go OS, right? And so I wasn't sure. And so that means you graduate boot camp and you go to A school in Great Lakes?
Yes. Yep.
All right. So here we go. How was that for young Shears, you know, Gurney Mills Mall with friends, money, limos? Did you get a limo after boot camp?
No, I didn't get a limo.
No, y'all didn't get a limo?
No, we at that time, you know, they had I just remember getting in the taxis, and they had like the cool little taxis with the speakers, the LED speakers and stuff. So I don't know, that felt more like a limo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I graduated boot camp, man, like 10 of us had no family. We got like a limo, and it rode us all over the place for our first day at Liberty, whatever. But I remember going to Gurney Mills Mall for the first time. Just be like, man, I'm in Chicago, you know, and Chicago is it's an American hub, right? Yeah. You got the Bulls, Michael Jordan, Kanye West, Twista, Crucial Conflict, right? For me growing up, Chicago was like Al Capone, you know, like it's a big city. And I was from Utah. You're from Tennessee. Did Chicago meet your expectations when you got out and about?
I ain't gonna lie, Chicago was rough. I don't want to talk bad about it, but I would just have to say Chicago. I think Chicago was one of the roughest places that I have been. I wanted to ask you, when did you go to boot camp? What month?
So so the winter, right? Okay. So I went in March of 1997. Wow. So I missed the majority of the winter. When did you go?
I went January of 2013. So I left. So I was there from January to March. So it was just straight black flag weather, like almost the whole time I was there until like
cold.
Yeah.
That is rough. It takes a special kind of person to live in that environment, bro.
But Chicago itself, I think, you know, and maybe my whole perception was warped, because you got to think the whole experience of Chicago was nothing but boot camp A school. Yeah. So I'm in there, and all of my experiences were just people just kind of like, it's kind of throwing you around everywhere. And I never forget how, you know, you go from boot camp, right? And it's like everything is, get over here. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And then it's like when you go to A school, the first time, like literally as soon as I got off the little van going across the street, somebody came out and, let me help you with your bags.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, that was the weirdest thing ever to me. Like, I'm like, people are nice in the military. So I think that was the biggest thing for me. But then, like I said, it was so rough for me in Chicago. People in Chicago were rough. I came across some rude folks out there.
It's a different energy, right? It's a different energy for sure. Again, you come from the South where people have the nice look. In the South, they nice till they're not. Right? Yeah. Let's be honest. Yeah. But for the most part, people are very respectful. They treat people well. But Chicago's a big city, just like SoCal, Southern California, right? I used to tell my sailors when they would come out, when I was stationed at 32nd Street for a long time, and I was on a ship, and I would have these young first tour sailors, and I would tell them, like, look, I don't know where y'all from originally, but that's really Southern California out those gates. Don't go out there acting a fool, because they will teach you very quickly you're not at home no more. Because you know, people come to the military thinking they're like they tough, or like they extra. they extra braggadocious or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's like cool, especially in Japan, right? And my first ship was in Japan
Oh,
too,
oh,
so I can relate to that, right? I went to Japan. I went to boot camp, 3 days of school, 30 days of family leave, and I was in Japan.
mhm.
And we was buck wild in Japan. We thought we was running things because ain't no one out there to stop you. The
Exactly.
Japanese don't let you do whatever you're gonna do,
Exactly.
right? And other Americans ain't trying to get in trouble or they're not on the spot. If you're a first tour sailor in San Diego or Norfolk, Virginia, you go out of town, act a fool, shoot, you might come across the right one,
Oh, for
and
sure.
you might have problems.
For sure. For sure. For sure. I
You know?
was impressed. I remember first time going out to San Diego being impressed about the color of my shirt. I said, oh, y'all still doing that out here? Like, so I learned quick. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, we in America.
That's funny. That's so real though. That's so real though, because it's like, oh man, yeah, for sure. So okay, so you're in Chicago, you go through school. When do you find out you're going to Japan, bro?
Man, that was a journey. So of course we do the A school. I was one of the sailors that I was on hold. I was on hold in A school. So so my class graduated 1 month. I think I stayed like 2 months after that. And it took me like 2 months to find out I was going to Japan. So by the time, and it was rough for me because at the time I had a girlfriend back in Memphis, and the whole idea was like, oh, we're gonna, after I get out of boot camp, we'll reunite, move to where I am. And when I heard Japan, that the reality of that hit me. I was like, oh, okay, well, so yeah, that was hard for me. I think that was the biggest thing on my mind at the time. Like, man, I'm about to lose this relationship.
What you mean you didn't fly back home to Memphis to get married real quick so you take her with you?
Nah, I didn't. And why I didn't? Well, no, because the young lady I was dating at the time, she was a grade younger under me, so she was still in school and trying to figure what she was gonna do. So nah, they didn't work out like that.
But how many people, bro, have you seen do something like that?
Yeah.
Like so many people, bro. Like I would talk to sailors and be like, look, don't go rushing to get married your first couple of years in the service. Like, I get it, you don't want to be alone. I get it, you want to have a house. I get it, you want all these things. But that's a big commitment, dude. You don't just run home and get married on the weekend and come back with some paperwork like she come with me to Japan.
Yeah. It's a lot, and spending you like say you think of somebody at 18 just getting out of high school, and at that moment all of these decisions are kind of being laid on you like that. But you know what, but I can say ultimately though I end up falling in that. I end up falling in that category at the end of the day anyway. And although I didn't get married right out of boot camp, fresh 18, I went to Japan single and whatnot. But that Japan life pushed me to want to get married super soon after I left Japan. So I end up still kind of falling in that.
I get it, bro. I get it, man. Because again, my first ship was in Japan, but different than y'all, I didn't have barracks rooms. I lived on the ship the whole time, right? And so when I got over there to be y'all CMC, and I had already done a ship in Japan as a senior chief, so I had seen barracks already.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm so glad I didn't have the barracks rooms. I might have been even worse. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the structure of being on the ship for me was healthy, but we was underway a lot, man. Like I don't remember being in Sasebo a whole bunch. Like we did 1 year, we were gone from Sasebo for 11 months out of 12 months. Yeah, we was getting it. We were super busy, and so it wasn't like that for us on Ash. So hey, when you landed over in Japan, did they pick you up at the airport? Or did you have to ride the bus down to the base? You remember that part?
Yeah, I had to ride from Fukuoka to Sasebo. Yeah.
Okay, so here you are, OSSR Shears. Are you an E1?
I'm an E1. I wasn't planning, and that's the thing. I wasn't planning on. I was not planning on being E1. I had gotten in. Like, how they tell you study your book and all of that. And, the circumstances happened, and I ended up coming in E1 still.
Brother, I tell people I was an E0. Like I was an undesignated fireman or crew. I was E nothing.
Yeah.
Right. So I get it, bro. Like it wasn't my plan neither. And so you get there. Was the ship there when you got to Japan? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was. It was.
What was your first thought? Okay, so did they come pick you up at like a little bus station right there on base, or did you have to like hike yourself to the ship by yourself?
It was so weird because I ended up pulling up. It was late. It was you know how going coming from America and then about to because
Yeah.
my first stop was Seoul, Korea. Then I had to take a flight from Seoul to Fukuoka, and that was a
Yeah.
whole hour drive. And then it was on a weekday, so I came first time sailor to the ship and having to wake up the next day and go to work. You know what I mean? So that was a lot. That was a lot for me. So no, they picked me up from I forgot where they picked me up on base, but then took me. I had been in contact with my sponsor at the
Okay.
time. He was OS2 Moores. Um, so yeah, so we had been in contact with each other, and yeah, so he
That's good.
yeah
That's good, bro, because I've heard some stories, man.
yeah
I and I would tell you as CMC, I was like, we gotta have duty people there to make sure we don't miss nobody. But
yeah
if someone was to tell me we missed a guy, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm like, well, we'll do better tomorrow.
yeah
We'll do better next time, right? What we going? I'm gonna find that guy and apologize.
yeah.
So did you go right to the ship because you don't get a barracks, or do they have a barracks room for you already?
Nope. So, and it's funny to hear you say that your whole time was on the
Whole
ship.
time.
That was rough for me, even because I was on the ship for 3 months, and I was thinking about it the other day. I'm like, man, I said we really had to test. We really had to get the ESWAS pin
Yeah.
to be able to get our barracks room. So it took me 3 months, and I had gone on my first patrol. And it's funny to hear that you say that y'all were doing 11 whole months. And one thing I just
Yeah.
thank God for is that I never had to, not 1 year in the Navy did I have to do a patrol or anything over 3 months.
Yeah.
So, and
Well, just so you know, we didn't go 11 months straight. We did
okay.
6. We did no notice to the Persian Gulf. Gone for so we was underway for 3 weeks to go to Hong Kong. Came
Mhm,
back home 6 months later,
mhm,
right?
mhm.
And then was home for a month and got sent out again for another 10 months or another
Okay.
4 months, which hit the 10-month mark. But by then it was a whole nother year. But it was just, but you know how it is in Japan, bro. If something goes off, they go call us up. And they was calling. I was on the Bellawood, which is the same thing as the big deck amphib was. What was the big deck amphib we were over there? Was that what was that shit?
The BHR.
BHR,
Yeah.
yeah, it's BHR. The same
Mhm.
thing as BHR, but they wanted the Marines, right? So we were the transportation to get the Marines there, and that
Okay.
was what it was really about. They wanted the Marines somewhere, so we was gonna take the Marines. And you know, it's funny as you brought up having to earn your barracks room. One of the first things I did as the CMC for Ashland was stop that, right? And I started giving
Mhm.
out barracks rooms to everybody immediately, right? Remember that?
Yeah. Okay. Mhm,
Everybody. And
mhm.
everyone was so mad at me, bro. Like, what are you doing? Say that Congress did not say they only got a barracks room if they got the qualifications, dog. That's your job to get them qualified. That's
Yeah.
not the sailor deserves a barracks room, bro. I
Yeah.
ain't gonna have empty rooms for no reason just because y'all hating on them, trying to make them on the reverse side. If you was Dink, you sure would be on those mess decks for 18 to 2000, not
Yeah.
in that barracks room.
No, for sure. For sure.
And you gotta walk around that horseshoe, right? You gotta walk all the way from the
Mhm.
barracks to the ship and back.
And I thank you for that because as a junior sailor that was rough, and then especially with the mindset of and this was a rough aspect of even being stationed in Japan compared to I feel like the sailors that instantly get stationed in America. You leave the home, you leave your mom and dad's home at 18. The idea is okay, well, if I'm joining the military and doing this man transition, joining the military, then I want some type of adults, I want to feel like an adult
Mhm.
at some point, right? And getting to Japan, you realize, and the reality of it is, all right, nope, that's not like that. You got curfew
Yeah.
at 12. And at the time, you stand on the ship until you pass this test to get your ESWAS, and
Yeah.
then you can get a barrack. So that was rough for me because, like I said, I had to do 2 patrols before I was even, before I even qualified to get a barracks room, and to come home, to come back to Sasebo after a patrol and seeing all your shipmates pack up and go off the ship to their homes and somewhere comfortable, and you just sitting there like, oh, well, this
Yeah.
is where I say that was rough for me.
Nah, man. And when I found out how many barracks rooms was empty,
Mm,
I lost my damn mind, bro. Like
mm,
I remember, I was like, hold up. you're telling me all those barracks rooms is empty and they're essentially Ashland, and I got all these sailors living on a ship for what? Right?
Yeah.
For what? And but just so you know, I didn't get there overnight. Like I had to mature to be that person too, because when I was a senior chief on the George Washington and master chief on the George Washington, I at first had that same mindset, like, well, I'm gonna leverage. But then as I got older, it's like, why am I leveraging against the sailor? I should be leveraging for the sailor.
Yeah.
I would, and then what I learned, and this was the cheat code, me and the Chiefs, me and like me and Harmon, right? Or me and Sharon would be we'd be in the Chiefs mess talking. And I was like, bro, how much more ruthless is it? We give them the barracks room than we give them EMI on top of the barracks room. So they can't be in the room that they got all their stuff in because they got to be on the mess decks. Because, you know, you don't really care about doing EMI on the mess decks when you sleep upstairs. Like, bro, it ain't that big of a deal. But when you got a nice barracks room with a PlayStation in it and you got a whole closet and you got food and all that, you don't want to be delinquent. But the problem is people were not tracking their people's training and their readiness, and it was management, right?
Yeah.
And they were using the barracks room essentially as, I would say, the measuring tool for who gets what. And again, we're wasting the government's money if we're letting these rooms sit empty for no reason.
Yeah.
You know? So when you got to the Ashland, what did you think about being an OS, right? An operations specialist?
Yeah.
Because it's a special place to work, right? You got the Combat Information Center. You guys were involved in a lot of the amphibious operations, especially when we're out operational, when we got the Marines embarked and we're doing things. I mean, I know when we're at home, it's kind of boring, to be honest. Like it's a lot of busy work, it's a lot of cleaning, and it's a lot of just getting through the day. But underway, I mean, y'all stay pretty busy, right? Did you like it?
I did. The whole OS. So let me backtrack. I know you say when I first got to Japan, I got to the Ashland. So I actually got to the Tortuga when I first went to Tortuga, and we did the whole swap. So it was a Tortuga first, and then the Ashland. So yeah, so showing up as an OS, I know you were saying that you began as an undesignated.
Yeah.
So like I said, I was blessed to kind of get put up on game before. I had a homeboy who was an HM in the Navy, so he told me prior to, he was like, yeah, don't pick undesignated. You know, they was like, yeah, it's not. It was like it's not like how they pitch it to be, and so I initially picked OS, and then, you know, of course you hear the oh yeah, you did good, choose your rate, choose your fate. So I came in as an OS already hearing that, and you know, of course the advancement, you know, of course going from from E1 to E5 is like almost perfect advancement. So I was hearing that. Then when I got to the ship, you know, like you said, in port for OSs is not much for us to do. And when I got there, we had a senior chief, if I'm not mistaken, his name was Senior Chief House. And Senior Chief House, he looked after us, and how he was looking at it was like, look, if it's nothing for my guys to do here, I'm gonna send them home at 11. You know what I mean? And everybody hated it. Oh, everybody hated it so much. But it was like, okay, we pull up, and all of our safe spaces was spotless. So I think that was the thing. It was like, all right, well, while we're here, it's not much for us to do, but what we're gonna do is keep our spaces clean and whatnot. And so that was like the thing that was understood as OSs when I got there. Like, no, we're gonna keep the spaces clean. And so as a division, we did that so well because it wasn't much for us to do. So with our senior chief, it was like, all right, well, ain't nothing for our guys to do. We did our training, and all of that was able to get done by 11. So 11, we was out until, you know, and then it got to the point, you know, people was complaining a little bit. And so then it kind of got to the point we started staying a little bit longer. So in port, that was the reality. And I love that. But then going out to sea, of course, that's when you realize, okay, well, this is where the meat and potatoes of our rate really lie. And I loved it. Like I said, it was rough for me because, of course, being a creator and being there, I was like, all right, this isn't what I typically want to do.
Yeah,
the day waking up. And as I look back, I'm like, man, I realized that there was a whole rate for that, mass communication. So as I look back, I tend to wonder if I had gone the route of mass communication, how would that have changed my outlook during the time that I was in? Would I have been, would I have stayed in longer due to, being in more of a creative, being in more of a media space compared to operations specialist? But it was a very fulfilling job while I was out there. I could say I learned a lot. I could say I went to so many, especially after I left Ashland, I ended up going to a LCS. So even
I'm going to ask you about that now, actually. All
okay.
right, so you get to the end of the Ashland, because you left Ashland. Were you an OS2 or OS3 when you left?
I was OS3. I was OS3 leaving.
I thought so, yeah. I remember when you were leaving, and we would talk because you'd be leaving. We were talking like, I was sharing with you like places I lived in San Diego and like places to be worried about or like what to be careful of, because you decided to take orders to why did you decide to go to a ship in San Diego and not just get out in Japan? What was it about that?
Well, so at the time I had, because I only had to do 3 years in Japan, and I had a contract for the 4 years, but the 12-month extension, so 5 years overall.
Oh, so you had a 5-year contract.
I had a 5 year.
I know that. Okay, so you had to finish your other 18 months or whatever it was somewhere, and that's why I get that. So then, did you want to go to Cali?
Definitely want to go to Cali because I was sent to ABC school out there, and that was my first experience in California, San Diego. Got there, instantly fell in love with it. I said, oh, this is where I need to be. Just the whole vibe, man. I was like, I gotta be here.
Hey, San Diego is great, man. I love it. I lived in San Diego for like 8 years, 7.5 years.
Really?
And you got to pay a cost to get that sunshine tax, but it's a great place to live for sure.
To this day, it's still my favorite. I'm sorry. I was just saying, to this day, it's still my favorite place to be.
Good. I'm glad. I mean, that's great, bro. That's what matters, is you get to live somewhere that you think is like a great place to be. And there's a lot of good reasons why for that. So you decided to go to Cali, go to the LCS. I mean, you couldn't have picked a more different platform or ship to go to next, right? And then the other thing is, I tell people, if you start your career off in Japan and then anything stateside, is not going to be the same, because our op tempo is crazier overseas, right? Like our operational the amount of things we're doing, like my ships I did in San Diego, nothing against them, but it felt like everyone was just taking it easy every day. Whereas in Japan, it was like we going from underway to underway to underway to underway, and it was I'm not gonna say stressful, but it was like energetic for sure. Yeah. San Diego is just a different vibe, right? Because everyone's like, we're gonna get off. I'm gonna hit Balboa. I'm gonna go home. They get on the freeway. They get past the gate. They forget they're in the military. Whereas in Japan, you in the military 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Because anywhere you go, someone gonna bust you. They gonna catch you, right? It's just a different vibe. So how was that landing in San Diego after being in Japan for 3 years? Was that too much freedom?
And so it's funny that you asked that, because it was definitely too much. Or at the time, it was a shell shock, kind of culture shock for one.
Yeah.
I think the first question, I'm wanting to go back to that first. Did you ask me what made me choose? You made me say what made me choose San Diego, right?
Well, you said you went there for ABC school and you just fell in love with it right away.
Yeah,
and I get that, man.
But the transition out there was not the transition that I had planned. So I had no plans whatsoever to go to an LCS. I didn't even know what LCS was when I was picking my orders. And that is the just the reality sometimes of being a junior sailor. I had no idea about any of the other ships outside of the ship that I was on, because that was the only ship, LSD. Yeah. And all I knew was, okay, I'm seeing all of these places to be stationed. I know I want to be in San Diego. So what do? I pick everything San Diego, not knowing that, okay, well, this ship does this, this ship does this. Oh, this LCS right here, this is a new class of ship. And when you choose it, oh, they gonna get you. It's a volunteer type of shit. Oh, and when you choose it, you are gonna have to extend your contract, because you're gonna have to go to all of these schools. And when you choose it, then you find out that, they do the gold and blue schedule, and it's a 70-man crew compared to the 300-man something crew that you're coming from. Oh, and by the way, you're going to go from 6 duty sections to 3 duty sections. Yeah. So it's like, and I And it was such a shock to me. Like I said, junior sailor, first time ever picking orders. So I don't even know the process, but all I remember is being on the Ashland, and all of a sudden people started saying, "Hey, congratulations, OS3, congratulations." Then people started saying, they were like, "So what made you choose an LCS?" So now all of this stuff is coming out, all of this information about what an LCS is. And I instantly just freak out. I call my grandma and I'm like, I'm almost in tears. I'm like, oh, I think I just made the worst mistake of my life. They telling me I got to extend, I got to do this and do that. And my grandma, she was like, well, have any of those other people been on the LCS? I was like, nah. She's like, okay, so so how you gonna know? And then it even got to the point I was like, I was asking the career counselor. I was like, hey, so if I want to drop these orders, what happens? They were like, oh, well, yeah, you become needs of the Navy. So it was all of that in my head as I was transitioning. So that's what made me ultimately go to, I was like, man, I'm just kind of stuck in this. And that's what made me go to an LCS. And so you say, what was it like pulling up in San Diego?
Yeah, like I couldn't go to. I went to recruiting duty after Japan, right? Okay. And that was wild in Tampa, Florida, Clearwater, Florida. I mean, that was wild because I went from being DC-3Ys on USS Bellawood in Sasebo, Japan, to being DC-3Ys Navy recruiter. Nobody watching where I'm living. I was outside, bro. Like it was wild in Tampa. It was, but I wasn't making. I had no money because people forget third classes don't make no dang money, bro. Like I didn't have enough money to pay my bills, let alone like really. When my wife met me, I had a 1-bedroom apartment with like a box spring and a mattress, a 4-drawer dresser, and a TV VCR combo, and that was all I had in the whole apartment, bro. Like I was broke because E4 pay is not that much to be living on your own. So when you went back to the States, were you back in the barracks again?
So when I went back to the States, that's when everything and that's when life changed for me, man. So I went back, man. I was E4 going back. I was up for the next cycle. I was up for my E5. You know what I'm saying? You know how it is, OS on 100%. So in my head, I'm thinking, all right, I'm about to go to San Diego. I made my mistakes in Japan, people know me out here. I'm like, okay, well, when I go there, it's my time to just recreate myself. I'm gonna go, I had my struggles out here in Japan. I wasn't the best sailor. I didn't feel like I was the best sailor I could have been. So I was like, all right, now I'm older. Got a few years in the game. I'm gonna do it different. When I get to San Diego, I'm gonna make my E5. I'm gonna get me a place. And then I was battling with the whole idea. I was 23, leaving Japan and going back. So when I got to San Diego, I was instantly put in a space to where I was around all of these other sailors who seemed to have it figured out. People got their apartments, people got cars, people, they got their bills and stuff like that. And in Japan, we didn't have none of that. We couldn't drive if you were a single sailor. We was in the barracks room. So I pulled up in Japan at 23 feeling like I'm behind. I don't know how to buy a car. I don't know how to shop for an apartment, So I went there with all of these ideas like, okay, well, when I get out here, this is what's going to happen. It didn't happen like that at all. Like you said earlier, you take a junior sailor from Japan who is basically sheltered, really sheltered. And then you drop us off in San Diego, or it's like, all right, y'all do what y'all want to do. Man, I was in San Diego 2 months and I got a DUI. Crashed my car right outside of 32nd Street at the Church's Chicken. I was coming across the Coronado Bridge, had been out drinking literally 2 weeks in San Diego. And my thing then was literally, I just bought me a fresh Infiniti G37. Went out drinking, didn't know nothing about an Uber, didn't have no taxis out. So I jumped behind the wheel and instantly crashed it. So I go out there thinking that I was going, had ideas of, I'm going to go be an E5, Man, I lost rank. I went to San Diego. I was in San Diego as an E3. You know what I'm saying? So
hey, I'm just glad you didn't get hurt, bro, or no one else got hurt.
That too. And so, and at that time I count my blessings so much, man. Because it was like a month or so after that, it was a sailor that had been like day drinking, and he crossed the Coronado Bridge and messed around and drove off the bridge and on top of the motorcycle convention and end up killing a bunch of people. So I even looked at that and I'm like, man, like how that could have been, you know. So
I do know for sure. I do know, man. I do know. I will tell you that alcohol is one of our curses as sailors, military in general, not just Navy, but in particular Navy. And I would tell you, like, I mean, we drink. When I was younger, I used to drink like it was a sport, right? Like it was like we had a point to prove. And so I'm not even surprised to hear you. I remember when you had the accident. I remember you posting about it and all that. Once it was all said and done, and you going through all that, and I just remember thinking like, I'm glad he's okay, and that nothing bad happened, and that the trouble you'll get through it. But that was probably just God telling you, hey, bro, you need to chill out. You need to get right and figure these things out. And like, again, when I look back at my career, I needed that structure of Japan. If they would have put me in my first ship in like San Diego, I would have probably thrown it all away quickly because I wouldn't have been ready for that at 19 years old, 20 years old. So I appreciated having all that extra structure. The problem was, like you said, is when you come back from Japan, you had so many eyes on you, so much more structure, and then everyone expects you to be grown. And I had warrants for my arrest when I got back from Japan. I had no idea. I had from before the military, right? I found out I had warrants for my arrest in Utah when I tried to buy a car. And I found out my credit was shot because I was just a wild teenager, right? And so I had no clue. I'm a recruiter and I got warrants for what? Like, what are you telling me, bro? How do I not know this and I'm in the military? But there you go. They don't know like in the States, everyone treats you kind of like an adult. Contrast to Japan, where we're like on you everywhere you go. Like they are really, really parenting you. And it's good and it's bad because they can come back to the States a little bit behind developmentally. And it's almost like getting out of jail, right? Like you've been locked up for a little bit and now you're getting out, you're trying to figure it out. You don't really know how to do things. So you have the accident and you're at LCS and you're probably still just barely getting onboarded, right? Because 2 weeks you stayed.
I hadn't even gotten to my command yet. Because the LCS is different. They have to put you in a, like, I forgot what they called it, but it's kind of like a pre-boarding situation because you got to go through all these schools before you go to the actual ship.
Yeah. So now, where were you at in regards to your creative journey at this point too? Like, was your plan to go to San Diego and like also get connected with people in the creative space and start working on because I remember at this time, what I remember about you, you were doing music and you were getting big into film, like taking pictures and stuff. Like you were getting very creative with that overseas, and you had all that gear you would purchase. You had to transport to San Diego or ship to San Diego or whatever that was. And then, of course, you had your network of people you had connected with, that you were friends with, that possibly might be in San Diego too. So what was your plan there at the same time as planning to be a good sailor, as good of a sailor? Or were you like, I'm gonna focus on being a good sailor more than worried about being a creative at this point?
So the idea was to go out there and try to balance it, right? And I remember people talking crap to them. They were like, "Oh, you think you about to go out there and have time to do this and do that? You got to be on the LCS." Yeah. But like I said, but what God has for you is for you, and due to me getting in that trouble because it was up in the air for a minute. They didn't even know if they were going to keep me in the LCS program, young sailor, DUI. And, then they were threatening even, deciding they were going to keep me in the Navy or whatnot. But, that was my first offense and whatnot. So, but it put me in a waiting period for a minute because it was, like that threw me all the way off. So I had to go through the Navy discipline, then I had to go through the civilian discipline. So it was just a bunch of waiting in that period. So it took me a minute before I even got to my ship. And in that waiting period, it opened up the space for me to, because remember, like I said, people were telling me, they were like, "Oh, you about to go to the LCS. You're not about to have time to do nothing out there." But during that time, it gave me space to get a chance to explore, get a chance to network, get out here and see, kind of get my bearings in California first. So I feel like those first few years, wasn't really dedicated to the creative space because I was like, all right, I'm just trying to get back in good graces, trying to make sure that, you know, I'll be able to keep my career. But so I would say I didn't really start leaning into the creative space until 2018. So I got in San Diego 2016.
Okay, so I understand that, bro. It sounds like you went to San Diego thinking you might really give the Navy a try to turn it, because you was always good at the military. It wasn't your passion. But it ain't hard, right? Like you know, like I know, it ain't hard to be good in the military, especially like, so you could have gone. I mean, you had the potential to go however far as you wanted to go, but it wasn't your passion. So what changed to where you were like, you know what, I'm gonna exit stage left. I'm gonna leave the military behind, and I'm gonna go all in on me.
So that was always the plan. I always looked at the military as a stepping stone. So I always knew that's what it was. And like I said, having just that creative energy in me, it always made being in the military automatic unhappy or a definite thing in my head that I wasn't going to stay. Now that transition from Japan to San Diego, you know, and I thank you, you know, you said that I was a good sailor. I felt like I was a good sailor, but I didn't feel like I was a great sailor because I didn't have that passion for it. So my idea was, okay, well, let me just try to just push a little harder, even though I didn't plan on staying in. But I'm like, all right, well, now that I'm in America, it should be a little bit more easier to live in this space. So I just planned on pushing a little harder, but it was always the idea that I was going to get out. Now, as time went forward of me being in the LCS and then going through all of the stuff that I went through trouble wise, it was a most definite thing. So to answer that question, the switch from that, it was always, okay, I know I'm getting out. But when it became I'm for sure getting out in the next few years, I think what pushed me was to go ahead and just get serious as far as starting my business. Because like you said, in Japan, I had started buying the equipment and playing around, doing the videos here and there. But in 2018, that's when I really sat down. I was like, oh, no, I'm going to actually start putting a price to my videos and actually start a business with it. So,
okay. And so what was the first thing you did as a business? Do you remember? Like, was it, because your short film, as I felt like, made you probably the most, energy around your name, just the things you did with that short film that you made. But up until before that, you were like doing like photo shoots for people, and you were doing like, I mean, I was watching all this. Do you remember what the first thing was you did officially as a business?
Yeah. So first thing I did, started out on Facebook, and I realized that not in different cities that you go to, 9 times out of 10, they'll have Facebook groups and whatnot that cater to local businesses and people who are looking for services and whatnot. And so when I got to San Diego, I found a Facebook group called Black San Diego, right? And it's a Facebook group that not all for Black people, but it caters to like Black businesses and people who are looking for like
that culture
and whatnot. So I joined that group and just started just lightly promoting myself. Like, hey, I'm a new photographer out here. I'm in the military. I'm wanting to build my portfolio. So I started out doing just free projects. Like, hey, if anybody wants a photo shoot, And so it started out like that. And literally from there, it just kind of started trickling into a word of mouth because, from then I was able to start kind of building content and work. And I'm like, hey, this is what I do. This, these photos. And then it turned to videos, so then it became, okay, I do photography and I do videos. And, with the whole 10 p.m. in Thailand, I was already editing and kind of in that space. So I just kind of took all of that knowledge that I had already. And I was like, all right, this is what I'll do. So it started from doing free projects. Then I started putting a price. I'm like, all right, I do it for $100 and $150 and $500. Then next thing you know, I'm starting to invest in more equipment. And now I'm starting to kind of build the portfolio and know what I'm doing more. So then I started to kind of raise the price and just price my work how I felt it should have been priced at the time, while also still in the Navy. So then that business became my safety net for when I got out. One of my safety nets for when I got out.
And so then when you got out of the service, was your plan to go, because you went to school right after you got out of the service, right?
Mhm.
Did you go to school full time?
I did. Yep.
Yeah.
So first initial plan, like I said, when I joined, I saw the school in Florida, Full Sail University. And so that was the plan when I got out. I said, okay, I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna move to Florida. Then I got introduced to their sister school, which is in LA, called the LA Film School. So kind of started doing research on both of them, kind of started asking myself that question, like, where would you be better off as far as trying to tackle the entertainment industry? And I just ended up coming up with the decision to stay out here in California, go to the LA Film School. So I got out in 2019. Literally within 2 months of getting out, I started school.
How were you able to use your GI Bill to pay for all that?
I was.
That's awesome, bro.
And I don't know if you're familiar with the not VetLink Solutions, but the VRE.
Okay.
Yeah, so the VRE program. So I ended up using that as well. So, you know, for disabled veterans.
The veteran, yeah.
So then I ended up getting that as well after using
Nice.
my GI Bill.
Good for you, man. And so I think a lot of people don't really use the GI Bill like the way they're supposed to, right? A lot of people are like me. I plan on giving it to my boys or whatnot. I did on my college while I was in the service, but my little cousin, I was talking to him. He just got out of the army, and he was like, "I want to go to college." I'm like, "Bro, why aren't you in college right now then?" "Oh, well, I got to get money." I'm like, "Bro, the GI Bill will give you money every month. Dog.
Yeah.
You need to go to college while you get that done with, so you can move on with your rest of your life.
Yeah.
Because society says you need that little piece of education.
Yeah.
Now, and he's not trying to do something technical, because like what you were doing, you want to go learn these higher level principles and learn these higher level things. What did you end up going to school for?
So went to the film school, and I got my bachelor's in cinematography.
Okay.
Yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know, like cinematographers, so when we watch films or when we watch televisions, the cinematographers are the ones who basically set up the shot, the lights, the camera, does everything technical as far as the picture of the film goes.
And so why'd you choose to go cinematographer after the majority of your younger, it was all music, then you got into film?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, as far as why cinematographer?
So the switch from music to film, I can say as a black man, right? Remember I was telling you coming up, all I saw was sports. You know, in our culture, you know, black basketball, football, you were in there if you were good. Yeah. I saw a different path, and I was like, okay, well, let me do music. Let me do the creative space. As I got older, and as the equipment and things, you know, got more accessible, I started to feel like the music and rap started to fall in the same category as sports, right? And so maybe self-conscious me started to look at it like, oh, well, I'm being put in a box as a black man, as a rapper, you know. And then I started to feel it too, and people would be like, oh, well, what do you do? And I'd be like, oh, I do music. And they'd be like, oh, well, what music do you do? What instrument do you play? And I'd be like, I rap. And so when I would say that, people would be like, oh, cool. You know, so I started to feel, and then getting out of, then when you have those conversations about getting out of the military, you know how it is. Before you get out, everybody has an opinion. You got some people who think getting out of the military is just absurd, it's just ludicrous. And and then you find yourself trying to explain to people your plan. So what you gonna do when you get out? Oh, well, I'm gonna do da-da-da. And so I started feeling self-conscious about telling people, oh, I'm gonna pursue music. Because I mean, that was the goal, to join the military and pursue the creative space. Yeah. But when it would come out of my mouth, oh, I'm gonna rap at 26 some years old, I can't say I started to feel away. Not saying it was not saying it was a validated feeling, but I did start to feel away. And in my head, I started to feel like, okay, well, what could I do that has more of a solid foundation? I would feel, right? That I could tell somebody I can talk to, and somebody would take me more serious than if I came and was like, oh, I'm going to be a rapper, right? growing up in that creative space, it was always a, what do I do? I love rap, I love film, I love acting. When I was rapping, I picked up a camera, started directing the videos, put them together. So I'm like, okay, I'm living in this creative space where I love to do it all. I just love the whole process of creating and stuff.
Yeah.
So I had to have a real talk conversation with myself, like, okay, what is it? Like, if you're gonna go to school, if you're gonna use this GI Bill, have somebody pay for you to go to school for something that don't have any regrets. Don't go to school for music and I really want to do film. So I had to have that talk with myself, and it just ultimately came out to being cinematography. I went to school for cinematography and was able to learn literally the whole aspect of how to create a film doing it. So I'm happy I did that. But as I was in school, I got the chance to actually write and direct my own short film. And once I stepped into the director's position and put my films together, I realized, I'm like, oh, that fulfillment that I didn't have in the Navy. Remember, I was telling you, like, oh, I was good, but I wasn't great because the purpose wasn't there.
Right.
When I did my films, I not felt like I was great, but I felt like, oh, this is you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You might not be the greatest, but at least you feel great while doing this. You know what I mean? You can literally sit here and break it down and explain piece by piece of this whole process of how to make a film, from pre-production to production to post-production. And to be able to sit back and look at it and be like, that's the finished product. That's when I realized, like, this is me.
They call that being in alignment, right, with the energy. I think that you on the right path. Like, God wants you to go that way when it feels that right.
Yes.
And it scares people, bro. Like, especially when it comes to getting out of the service or doing something different. Because I remember when I joined the military, people had a lot of opinions. Oh, you gonna join the Navy? What? You gonna leave? You gonna do this, that? And so then when I was retired from the service, I didn't catch a lot of energy from people because I didn't tell a lot of people, to be honest with you, bro. I just was quietly dropping papers because I didn't want to hear it, right? But I remember thinking, like, I always was ahead of the game my whole career. Why am I gonna wait like everyone else to retire 30 years? Like, I'm gonna go. I got things to do, man. I got, I did my thing. I did my time, but got to make your move. And if I had the things like what you had, I would have 100% supported you in doing that, because you only live once, right? And tomorrow's not guaranteed. And why waste your time on this earth doing something is not fulfilling you, when there's other things out there that are for you, right?
Yes.
But it takes a lot of courage to step away from the institution of like a for sure job field, a for sure potential career field, especially when everybody else in your network is like, that's what they're doing, right? But it takes a lot of courage. So, and then you made your movie. Where are you at now on the journey? Because you said you got out of the service in 2019.
Yes.
And so now it's 6 years later.
Yes.
Right. I think you had a lot of success. I mean, like you said, you're presenting awards at the Emmys. You're moving in circles in California where people are involved in the creative space. We spoke a little bit about your idea for filming a movie back in your home state, right? Which, do you still consider Memphis home?
I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's a unique spot, right? I have been to Millington, so I've been like to that area, like Beale Street and all that, but I never lived there. I just visited it. But I will tell you that it's definitely got its own energy. It's got its own culture. It's got its own. What was that movie? Oh boy, DJ was a DJ.
Hustle and
yeah,
Flow.
Right. I think they probably did a good job capturing the energy of that time period, right?
Sure.
That time of the world, right? In a certain part of the country. I love movies like that show an authentic perspective of a community, and kind of what people are going through, right? And you had a good idea, because what you were telling me about the multi-generational and the different things of decisions and consequences, and now you're a dad, right? So that's an extra layer of it, I'm sure. So what is life looking like for you now, man? graduated college. What's up with you now?
Man, okay. So I'm in this transitional space, and it's so weird. And then it's so weird that we're talking about this now because I feel like I'm in one of the most crucial parts in my life now, and I'm still trying to figure it out, right? And it's so crazy because it's kind of connecting to my prior fears prior to joining the Navy. I don't know if I
Mm,
mentioned it, but I was saying before, as I was getting to my senior year in high school, the whole idea was like, okay, there's no blueprint to do what you want to do, to be in this creative space, right? Like it ain't no right or wrong way. It's really about, okay, being in the right place, right time. Who knows you? Not really who you know, but who knows you, and how will they speak about you in a room? You know what I'm saying? Because that's where the opportunities come from. It's a constant in this creative field, and in this industry is a constant trying to find the next gig, because it's like you're
yeah,
only as good as your last project. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And
yeah,
that was a gut punch to learn after getting out of the service and after being in this space, because like I said, on the outside looking in, we see stuff on TV and it's like, okay, that person got it, he on, you know what I mean, he good, you know what I'm saying? But the reality of it is like, nah, you just, it's a constant, you know what I mean? And when you see these actors or celebrities that's like all like Shaq and stuff, that's all over the place doing this commercial and doing this and doing that, and then you start to realize like, oh no, people out here just they trying to survive, trying to keep the income coming in. So I say that I'm in this crucial place because I'm tackling the fear that even made me join the Navy in the first place, and that's the fear of being in this world and just kind of floating idly while trying to figure out, okay, what is it, what's
yeah,
the next move, where do I go? And remember, I told you that time when I was in high school, I broke down. I just prayed like, God, I need you to show me what it is,
mhm,
what route that I need to go. And I'm in that place right now. I literally just had to talk with him like a month ago, just trying to see like, all right, because like I said, I graduated school in 2023, if I'm not mistaken.
okay,
Yeah, 2023. So I'm
yeah,
looking at the time and I'm like, all right, man, you've been out of school for going on 3 years now. What have you done? As I look back, I can say, okay, well, I've done this, I've done that. But I think the bigger picture for me is, what are you going to do overall, right? Yeah, I got the short films here and there, but I've been having these conversations with myself like, all right, well, to be considered a real director in this film industry, you must tackle your first feature. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
right now, and I was telling you the other day, I've written the first draft of my feature script. Um, and at this point, man, I'm just following my spirit, because like I said, there's no right or wrong way. But what I'm feeling in my spirit is this story that I was telling you about, called Within Strength. Um, Writing the script, figuring out, okay, how do we get the funding to get this film made? You know what I mean? That's the
yeah.
uphill battle. You know what I'm
I
saying? Like,
bet, bro. I
yeah,
bet. I would think like I was as you were talking, I was thinking like you need investors, or you
hmm
need like crowdsource funds, or you need to do something like I think Ali Sadiq, right, where he does his comedy routines and he does it all on YouTube for like an
hmm
hour, 2 hours on YouTube. Do something like that to build the buzz. But because I think that uh, first copyright your script, right?
yes, yes,
First copyright your script, because if you got a fire script and fire story, that's gonna matter. Right. And
hmm
I'm telling you that from the perspective of a guy that doesn't really copyright anything yet, because ultimately I know I'm gonna keep creating more anyway. And people go jack your flow no matter what you do.
yeah,
But I would say if you're gonna create a buzz around something, and again, you've been doing this, you create your social media presence around this idea of this movie and build that up,
mm,
right? Make that be something big, and then start doing table reads with people so you can put it out there. Start doing stuff where people get the energy from it, and then start figuring out how to market it where people might want to go ahead and invest in you. And oh, by the way, email 50 Cent, bro. Be like, hey, Curtis Jackson, Mr. Jackson, sir.
Mm.
Right? You're doing a
Mm.
lot of big things down in where's he at doing his big stuff?
Where
Down
is
in
he? I don't know if it's Atlanta.
Mississippi. No, it's like Mississippi or something like that,
Really?
bro. Yes, like Baton Rouge, I feel like.
Okay.
I feel like he just bought out like Baton Rouge, and like
Mm,
he's opening up like a whole studio bank down
man.
in that section, right? And it's completely off the reservation, but that's the kind of person that I think would be interested in a storyline with what you're going to bring to it. And you just got to figure out how to farm it out there and build that buzz and leverage stuff like this, leverage social media to start telling your story, or do short films that will encapsulate pieces of what it could be,
Yes.
right?
Hmm.
And figure out what the budget needs to look like. Because you also look at the people that got like Tubi. Tubi got some good content, bro. Like I'm not gonna knock them. So who's funding those?
Yeah. Yeah.
Netflix is Netflix is making. I say Tubi because you talk about the culture, right? I feel like Tubi is generating a lot of the movies in the culture, especially I would say like Black culture
Hmm.
versus like maybe Netflix or versus like a Hulu, depending upon what your storyline is going to be. But
Hmm.
Pretty Little Liars was on Hulu. That was pretty good,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So depending upon what your market's going to be for your film, that's the kind of people I think you want to reach out to and tell them, here's who I am, here's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then, bro, whenever you get that, my only advice is document the entire ride.
And you're literally saying everything right. Somebody was actually telling me the same thing that you
Yeah,
literally the other day. Like people
yeah,
want to see the process and whatnot.
they
And yeah,
do.
no.
They do, bro. They do. And if you're smart, you capture that content and then you put that documentary out separate
Mm,
as an addition to your story, but following whatever happens with it. Because, bro, the first one, I mean, your first short film did, I think, relatively well,
yeah.
right?
Thank
I think it did good. I mean, for coming where you came from and for doing what you did, I think it did good. Uh, what matters the most is that you get this done,
you. Yeah.
right? That matters more than anything. It ain't gotta be no award-winning production. What dope is you get it done,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And then you can always have a foundation to build on, right? As to wherever you want to go. It's just the beginning.
Yeah.
And I think figuring out how you're going to get it financed is going to be critical. But that's where I would focus my attention. Or you go ahead and go out there and get them loans and invest in yourself and see where it goes. But you know more. You would know more about that than I do.
That's the thing.
But
It's no right or way, and that's the right or wrong way. And like you say, all of those are ways that could, that could
yeah,
make it happen. You know what I mean?
hey, I know there's lots of ways to get money, bro. There's lots of ways to get. I know people that I talk to that have $1 million days.
Really?
$1 million days, bro. Just depends on what you're doing to get your money,
Yeah.
right? And they're in the creative space too, but they're creative about like working with people to help them solve problems, right?
Mm,
So maybe what you got to figure out is ways to get paid for the things that you already do really good, so you can finance the thing that's your passion project,
yeah.
right? That's
Yeah.
another thing, but it's also like, all right, sense of urgency. You can't be complacent. You got to have this perseverance mentality. I got this thing that I'm on right now called it's I did not create this. I found this online, but it
Mhm.
spoke to me because I was already putting it together. And I love when I find somebody else already did what I'm thinking, which
Mhm.
means number one, I'm not crazy. And number two, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because people out there, and it's about perseverance, resilience, and adaptability, right? It's how to
Mm,
leverage those three things. Too many of us are worried about being resilient. The problem is that resiliency breeds complacency because you're
mm,
too worried about bouncing back, right? I
mm.
don't want to keep having to bounce back. I'm gonna duck. I'm gonna dive. I'm gonna move. I'm gonna hit back first,
Yeah.
right? Like I don't want to be resilient all the time. I want to learn to adapt to the process and persevere. And I
Mhm.
want to be the one walking up the hill steady, dragging that chain, pulling my squad up the hill to the
Exactly.
point where if I ever have to be resilient, it's because I really got caught slipping,
Mm.
right? And so I think just figuring out how to make sure you're making steady plans, steady path towards the goal,
Yeah.
and then what's that drop dead time of when you're going to start, right?
Mhm.
And you might be amazed who's going to follow you, who's going to support you, man. Um, but I would investors, I would say copyright your script.
For sure.
I'd say shop that for sure with people, and I would I would I would also say look at Memphis. Who in Memphis might have a vested interest in seeing something about Memphis, by Memphis, for Memphis, from Memphis,
Mhm.
get produced in Memphis?
And you know, it's so funny that you brought up Hustle and Flow, because you know that was directed by the director Craig Brewer, and that since that dropped when I was in fifth grade, right?
Yeah,
And that film alone inspired me so much to, like I said, because growing up in Memphis, we never saw that. So finally
yeah,
seeing somebody bring a film to Memphis and it blew up like it did, I've always said that that's something that I've wanted to do. So to hear
yeah,
you say, yeah, so that's my plan actually to reach back. And then when you look at like just the cost of things, and like you were talking about with Curtis Jackson being, you know, down south, and you got Tyler Perry in Atlanta. Now you're starting to hear those conversations about like, oh, well, Hollywood really isn't the place to be like it used to. You know what I'm
no,
saying? Because now it's like with being able to have the social media, the equipment, and the ability to create and put stuff out on Tubi and stuff like that. You don't have to be in California. You can be in Memphis. You can be
yeah,
down south. You know, so and that's even when it comes to getting like permits and uh renting out spaces to shoot in LA. They skyrocketing. It's expensive to get a film shot in LA because they know
yeah,
that's what happens out there. But going somewhere in Memphis, I'm sure I would be able to save way more money. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Going out there to shoot. And so yeah.
I'm telling you what. So I was watching with 50. I keep calling 50 Cent like I know the man. I don't know the man, but Curtis Jackson, Mr. Jackson, right? He's buying that whole area of Baton Rouge out because he's like, look, I watched the documentary he did, and he's like, look, they've got everything down there that I need to make large scale, full on productions at a quarter of the price. And
Mhm.
even Atlanta's becoming too costly, right? Because people start to be, they get a little greedy, they get a little bit money hungry. But he's
Mhm.
like, look, I'm gonna create my own thing, and there you go. And so you just got to figure out how can you leverage the sound of your voice, the sound of social media to get the attention of the right people that can help finance it, and make sure you got the right deal or the framework already set up. Because again, legally, you want to make sure you've got protections in there because it's your story, it's your idea, it's your creative stuff. But you willingly recognize you need investors, you need some support, you need a little bit of principle to help you get this off the ground. And oh, by the way, for the right person, this is the beginning of a long-term relationship, right? It
Mhm.
ain't gonna, because you're a creative, you've been a creative. It ain't gonna end. That's just the kickoff. That's just the jump off. And how do you tell that story? And then you also got to look at the different niche markets you can go into because you've got a bunch of different ways you can go. You could keep telling, the father son stories. You could tell the Memphis stories. You could tell the story that of a man that's gone through your experiences in life that no one else can tell but you. Or you could tell story, help people tell their own stories.
Mhm.
Right? There's a bunch of different ways you can go for the military genre. You could go a whole bunch. You already went with your short movie. It was kind of like the horror, the scary
Mhm.
genre. You can do that again. That's always a good place to go because people like to have entertainment, right? I think of Antoine Fisher, right? I think that was a great movie that told a freaking phenomenal story of a
Yeah.
human, and it had a military aspect to it. How many people you met in the military that have banana stories, bro? You're like, bro, that's crazy what you went through.
Mhm.
I've met a lot, right?
Yeah.
I've met so many successful people that were in the military that was just working their plan, figuring it out while they were biding their time. And
Yeah.
that's part of why I'm doing what I'm doing because I'm leveraging all y'all stories to
Mhm.
help get my voice out there.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's gonna go. Don't know why I'm doing it. I just feel like it's what I'm supposed to do,
Yeah.
right? And okay, God, I'll follow. Like I'll walk, I'll march. You ain't no
Yeah.
problem because I don't want to waste my time on this earth.
Yeah.
And so I definitely think that should be a priority for you, bro. Like you should make it a priority to start building a buzz. And I'm not saying relocate to Memphis, even though unfortunately you're gonna have to be there probably for a serious amount of time to make it happen.
Mhm.
Um, but I also know you got your family and you got to think about all those other things.
Yeah.
But if that's the story you want to tell first out the gate or next, I guess I should say, because what's got next has got to be a priority too. Because you still got to keep the money coming in, you still got to keep the lights on, you still got
Yeah.
to keep all those things going, and that's hard, man. That's why a lot of people that I listen to and that I pay attention to, like my job that I have right now, working with the kids in school, I
Mm,
love that job. Don't get me wrong, it fills my cup, but it fills my cup so much that I have extra to give to other things, right?
okay.
Up until those other things then can replace that original thing.
Okay.
Um, but finding something that can fill your cup is going to be something important. So whether it's getting a, a position on the cinematography team, right, working in a film company, working somewhere local, I mean, because you're an entrepreneur, that's the other hard part you're going to have is you want to be on your own timeline. You don't want to work for someone else, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what? I've always been open to, either or. But as I
Okay.
am getting older, and as I am like starting to just look more at just the whole idea of ownership and whatnot, because like I said, I've done the thing where I've worked for other people's companies and done this and done that, and nothing wrong with that at all. But it does come to a point in time where it was like, okay, well, I need to zone in and focus on my stuff. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so that's where I am right now with this script. And man, I'm telling you, I'm working like a madman because, like I said, I'm looking up now and I'm like, man, it's been 3 years since graduation, and is now I'm like really asking those questions, like, all right, bro, what are you doing? Like, what God brought you out here for a reason. God put it on your spirit, and gave you the skills and the talents to do this stuff. So it's like, okay, well, what are you gonna do with it? So,
The
man,
good news, the good news, man, is that means something's about to happen. The good news is when you're that unsettled, when there's something got you off your little square that much, where you're like, all right, what's something's about to happen, and
yeah,
it's just gotta be you gotta be ready for it when it comes, and don't be afraid to jump, man. Timing plus preparation equals destiny, bro.
yeah,
And but I do think a part of this is you got to start putting it out there in the universe. Like I want to do this in Memphis, with Memphis, for Memphis, and strategically communicating to the people that might actually have a vested interest in seeing it be successful,
mhm,
right?
for sure.
And with your background, with your everything else you're bringing to the table, leveraging all your experience, leveraging all the reasons why that you're a good person to bet on, right?
Yeah,
And then also what that budget looks like and what you need to and what's the returns going to look like for the people.
yeah.
And then, there you go. But I think something's about to happen, bro. I got a feeling for you, man.
Man, I thank you for that, and I need something to happen, and it feels like that. It feels like kind of like, okay, back into the wall, and even when it comes to just things in my daily life, you know what I'm saying. Even like when we talk about like this walk with God, it's kind of like, I well, it's forcing me to have to really dive deep within and do some soul searching. Like, okay, well, am I doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing to, like you say, to set myself up and to be prepared when that time comes? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
Uh,
do.
yeah, so man, I'm going through all of that mentally.
I do want to. So today in church, we just started doing a middle school ministry,
Mhm.
and I'm doing that because my younger son is in sixth grade now.
Okay.
And so I wanted to step in and make sure he had a space to go to worship and make friends and have a community. So it would help reinforce him going through middle school
Mhm.
because it's such a big, I would say, shift from elementary school,
For sure.
right? And so doing that, I get the chance to work with these kids, but we get to talk about worship. Okay, I don't do that in the schools, right?
Mhm.
So in church we have it. Today we're talking about understanding and what's God's understanding of us, and that God will always understand what we're going through, and He wants us to be good. But you have to remember that step one is the healthy fear of God, right?
Mhm.
And it's not like I don't want my boys to fear me, right? I got two sons. I don't want them to fear me, but I want them to worry so much about what I'm going to do or say that they never have to worry about law enforcement because
Mhm.
they so worried about what I'm going to think, what I'm going to say, that they'll never put themselves in the position you have to worry about
Mhm.
somebody beyond that, right? And
Mhm.
I remember getting in trouble one time when I was a teenager and them taking me away from my parents. And I could not imagine someone doing that to my kid, man. Like taking my son away from me and like walk.
Yeah, I feel
That'd be
that.
hard, right? And
Yeah.
so when I think about God, and when I was talking to the kids today, I'm like, look, you don't understand. When we say fear of God, it's not about being afraid. It's about you're afraid to disappoint. You're afraid to make him sad that you failed to do your best, or you failed to walk with him. You failed to rely upon him when you were uneasy, and to come to him with your concerns, your fears, your concerns, or whatever. And then, God, if this is for me, help me to figure this out so that we can do this. And how can I best lead people to you
Mm,
through this project, through this walk? Because if I really am walking with God, then the goal is to bring people to God, bro.
mm,
That's it. Like,
mm.
period. Anything outside of that is unfortunately not going to be in alignment with what God wants you to do.
Yeah.
Right. And so how can I then be authentic and say what needs to be said and let people hear the truth? But then, oh, by the way, give the credit to God. But like the reason why I'm able to do this, y'all, is because I went through this journey and I came to where I'm at today. And I'm gonna give that credit to God. And I think leveraging that message, leveraging that energy that you got from God, and understand, knowing that He understands whatever you ever did wrong. Really, He don't even care as
Yeah.
long as you own it, as long as you come correct about it, as long as you don't keep doing the same damn thing over and over again, because
Yes.
that's crazy, right?
Yes.
You got to mature, you got to get wisdom, you got to get the things, you got to remember that people are watching you for an example, and then how can I best use that platform to help people not only get through life, be relatable, right?
Hmm.
Be relatable, but also be honest about my praise, right? Like I really believe in God and I really believe in Jesus Christ and that He died for my sins. But
Hmm.
because He did that, I can always get right because I'm
Yeah.
not. None of us are perfect,
Yeah.
right? None of us are perfect. But if I can get right, you can get right. And oh, by the way, when I share my stories out, when I share a sea story, or when I tell a story about once upon a time when I did something wild or whatever it was, it ain't really to gas it up. It's to show you that I went through something, but here I am today. And oh, by the way, this is what I learned. You don't
Mm.
got to learn the same things. You can learn different things.
Yeah.
I tell this to my sons all the time. Like, don't ever be afraid to come talk to me because I would like them to look to me like I look to God,
Mm.
right? Like that's the love I would like to have with my own sons is what I believe God has for me. And so just keep leaning into that, bro. Keep
Yeah.
leaning into that. But then of course God helps those who help themselves. Right. So you gotta get out there and hustle. You gotta
Yes.
get out there and hustle and you gotta get out there and share that energy with people, bro. Like you need to start going on like platforms like YouTube and
Mm.
just making like hour-long content about why you need to make this film and why
Mm.
it's so special. And then just hashtag all the ones that matter and just keep doing it because
Yeah.
you got to get the attention of the people that are looking for you, bro.
Yeah. Man.
They're
Man.
looking for you. I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
There's someone in Memphis right now looking for you to do something like the project you're gonna do.
Yeah.
They just don't know you. They just don't know you that you're looking for them too. And you got
Man.
to get out and start making. And that's free. It's
Yeah.
free. Set up the phone and talk.
Yeah.
Right?
I needed that, man. I thank you. I seriously think, because I'm telling you, man, it's literally, I find myself like, okay, what do I do? But
Yeah.
seriously,
I get it, bro. Hey man, cheers, bro. I appreciate your time.
thank you.
We're about to land this thing, bro.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna call it a day. I'm looking forward to seeing whatever you do next, though, and I got a feeling you're gonna do great things, man. I've been watching it for a long time. I've been very, very happy to watch your rise, man.
Man, well, I thank you so much. Thank you for having me. For one, I also want to thank you, like I said, for the past, for the leader that you were, for even just showing me that love as far as just hyping my work up on the ship. That did a lot to me. That
Yeah.
helped me a lot. And and sometimes as a creator, we need that. We need
Hey,
for people to let us know, like, oh, what you're doing, that's
it
it.
was
I
dope.
like what you're doing, man.
It
So
was
no,
dope. Yeah.
thank you.
It was dope. All right, it was dope, bro. And I have no doubt you're gonna keep doing it. All right, here we go. I'm gonna ask you some questions. I don't want you to try to think too hard about them. Just
Mhm.
try to go ahead and give me your best answer. So,
Okay.
what was your first like? I'm really in the Navy moment. Like, do you ever have that moment where like I'm really in the dang Navy now, man? What the
Mhm.
heck?
Yep. First moment was being on the Tortuga. No, it was the Ashland by that time, but first few months at the ship in Sasebo. It was Thanksgiving. It was leading up to Thanksgiving. You know how, remember at the end of the year, they would give everybody the opportunity to pick if we wanted to go home for Thanksgiving, Christmas, or New Year's, whatever the schedule was. And so this first year, the options were, all right, y'all want to go on Thanksgiving or Christmas? I chose Thanksgiving. It was a week leading up to Thanksgiving, and there was a tsunami, I think, out in the Philippines and whatnot. And literally like 3 days before I went on leave, it was like, nope, we about to go out to sea. So my first Thanksgiving was at sea. Had no idea, like, you know what I mean? You there and you just kind of going with the flow. You like, okay, when are we going back? Am I gonna be able to go home? It was just so much that first rude awakening was like, okay, this is that.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one, bro. Nothing like missing a holiday that you're supposed to go home with your family on. That's a good one. All right, next up, what do you see was one of the biggest leadership challenges people have in the world today? Because you've seen a whole bunch of different leaders now throughout your journey, throughout your walk. What do you see as one of the biggest leadership challenges out there in the world?
Biggest leadership challenge that I see is when you have the leaders who don't know how to balance. You know what I'm saying? You of course we come across the leaders who just kind of just take it too far. You know, they get a sense of authority. They get a sense of like, and then it's kind of like, you don't even do it the right way. You don't make your people that's under you feel comfortable. And like I said, and coming across leaders like you who would sit down and who would come down to our level and relate, you know, and seem relatable or sit there and actually have a conversation with the younger guys or the people up under you, compared to like, do this, do what I say, go on about your business. So yeah.
Well, it sounds like to me you're saying that leaders need to focus on having those conversations and actually getting to know people.
Yeah.
And that's true. Communication is almost always in the top ones. All right. So how are you going to use those skills then to best I would say, because I have a lot of teenagers that I work with in my program. A lot of their parents are working with them, and teenage years are rough, bro. Like, it's weird to me. I got a 17-year-old son now. He's a high school senior, you know, and I remember whenever I meet people that have adult children, I'm like, yo, what's it like having a kid that's an adult, bro? Like, because when you become a daddy or a parent, you don't really know what you're getting into. You just kind of take it one day at a time, right? Really? You just kind of make it the best. So how would you think you're going to try your best to leverage that communication aspect throughout your walk as a parent?
That's a great question. And that's a great question. All right. So, man, just, okay. You know how I was back in the day. It was more like, do what I say because I say it. Or it was like, you stay in a child's place, or you know. So I feel like as adults, or how the adult to kid contrast back in the day, and don't get me wrong, I feel like we need a lot of that foundation that we had back in the day. But I do start to see a little more tip of the scale nowadays. I see is not really much of I do what I say because I say do it, or stay in a child's place, or I'm an adult, you're a child type of thing. And what I try to do as a parent is I try to remember that one day my son just is 5. He just started kindergarten. So I try to remember that one day my son is going to be an adult. Every day that my son lives, he is getting older. So yeah, he's a child. And yet as a parent, there's a level of authority, and as a, like, you know, but I try to have a different perspective. I try to have a mature conversation with my son. If I tell my son to do something, instead of it just being like, I do it because I say do it, depending on the situation, I might, you know, I'll explain, well, Daddy needs you to do this because such, instead of it just being because he said do it, if that makes sense.
But you know what's dope? I mean, you're kind of like me in the sense that we didn't have kids till I was a little bit older. Mm-hmm. A lot of my friends had kids when they were very young, you know, in the military, 21, 22 years old, having babies. And my wife and I, we were married for a few years before we had our first son. And I was a chief petty officer before I had my first son. And I think that the way I parented my first son, definitely I'm different on my second son
Mhm.
because you learn things and things change. And then as I got older, I learned different communication techniques that work better than than like possibly. I believe in spanking. Don't get me wrong. If my son need to get spanked, I'll whoop him a little bit, but it was
Mhm.
never meant to hurt. It was always meant to correct.
Mhm.
If I was ever angry, I would never put my hand to my child because that's the wrong energy, right? That's not their fault probably that I'm angry.
Mhm.
Um, and I hear that through your tone that you got that's again why having picked children at the right time in life, that maturity kind of comes along with it. But I'll tell you, as they get older, it can be a trip, bro. Like especially when when your son is old enough to pick you up off the ground, it's something else. I'll tell you.
Hey, and you know what? And like I said, my son is 5, so that is a thought
Yeah,
of mine. And look, I think my son is going to be taller than me for sure. So
yeah,
I tend to have those thoughts like, all right, well, my in my opinion, my son is great. My son is
yeah.
respect. He's never given me an issue, and I pray that he never does. But then those thoughts happen. Okay, well, what if your teenager changes and the energy changes as you get and now you know he's getting older, but now he's talking back to you. Now he's doing this and doing that. But then my thing is, well, now at that age, how does it look? Me and my son at this age going now, I'm not able to just pull out a belt. Now I'm feeling like now I picture a situation like that gets physical, like where it's like, all right,
Yeah.
now we throwing hands. And I'm like, I don't think I want that. I
Nah.
as a child, I never bucked up to my parents. I never was physically, I got whoopings and spanked and stuff, but my dad never had to we never threw hands with each other. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what I would tell you, like with boys in particular, young men, is they're gonna push. And like I always wrestle with my son, and I always wanted to rough play because that's how I teach them how to defend themselves, right? I
Mm,
use that rough play as a way to teach them how to block and how to move. And I put them in martial arts and all that,
mm,
and so they just playing around. But I think even he was like, when the first time my son picked me up, I think even he was like, "I wonder if I could do it," and then he
mm.
just did it. And I was like, "Oh hell, what? You better put me up. What's wrong with you, bro?" And I I remember so one time my son, he did something one time, and I was like, I'm gonna have to wreck him if I do something. I can't do and I'm thinking like that. I'm like, bro, okay, because we're not the same,
Yeah,
right? He grew up in a world that's completely different than the world I grew up in.
yeah.
And I'm thankful for that because I worked my heart out to make sure he had a life that it's hard not to judge him for it sometimes when you like, bro, I never had what you got.
Mm,
So I try not to be jealous because it's not their fault. They didn't ask for it.
mm,
We just provided,
mm.
right? But it does become kind of a mind twist, right? As you get older, especially if you start to feel like they're not appreciating it or whatever it is. Like, bro, come on, no, you don't appreciate having a PlayStation in your bedroom, like what?
Yeah,
Or a TV, like you gotta like whatever. But
yeah.
anyway, as they get older, you'll figure it out. But communication will be key, bro, for sure.
For
All
sure.
right, what's one piece of advice you would give to someone who's struggling, like when you was in the Navy, but you really wanted to be creating, right?
Mhm,
What's a piece of advice you would give to someone that's going through something and they're not doing what they really want to be doing?
mhm. Um, I would say live in the present, live in the moment. Wherever you are at that moment, that's where you are supposed to be. So, and that's a big regret of mine as I look back and I look at. I feel like when I was in Japan, I use that opportunity to the best of my abilities. But I look back and I look back at how I felt on the inside. I look back at how me not really wanting to be there, me wanting to be creative, but I couldn't have that. That drove me to drinking. So yeah, I made the best out of it, but there were things on the inside where I felt like I rushed. You asked me, okay, well, what made you leave after 3 years ago? Maybe if I had been more present and took that location like Japan that I was in, and I look back and I'm like, it's just a few things I would have done different, but I would have enjoyed it more because, like I said, at the end of the day, I still end up being where I wanted to be.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I think you're right on track, bro. To be honest with you, I think that you had to go through your go through.
Yeah,
That's just how it is,
for
right?
sure.
Okay. How hard was it for you to transition out of the service? Like now as a veteran going through the process, what advice would you give for someone who's going to transition onto the other side, right? Any advice for them there?
Um, to be 100% real with you, I didn't feel like it was hard at all. Because like I said, I was anticipating it, and I was anticipating it so much, and it was so strong in my spirit that I did the work prior to getting out. I had an idea for how I was going to want to make money. Like I said, I started the business. I knew I was going to go to school. I'd already been coached on getting all of my medical stuff together to get my disability. So once I got out, I went to TAPS like twice. You know what I'm saying? I was blessed to be able to go. My command sent me twice. So I was so nervous, and then I had my son was about to be born. So I just had so much that I was anxious about that it just forced me to just kind of think ahead and do my best to set myself up.
Good.
I got out.
I think that not everybody cares that much about preparing, right?
Mm.
And like you, I didn't really have too much of a hard time because I did the work. I took the time, and I'm not surprised to hear you say this, bro, because I that's just who you are, man.
Thank
But
you.
I will tell you that going through all that, though, the problem is as you do open up those cans of worms to let those demons out, putting them jokers back in the box they can be hell. It can
Mm,
be hell,
mm,
right?
mm,
Because I mean, look, it's not natural. Some of the things that we did there that we do in the military, right? You don't just regular people don't do the things that we would do to medicate or to put away the pain or to handle the stress of the day or whatever it was, right?
yeah.
And so what I tell people is as you're getting ready to retire, start putting that work in. But as you unbox that as you open up that box, get ready. Because if you don't do it right, you're gonna pay for it. And if you do it right, there's a price to be paid there too, because you put it off already for a long time. And
Yeah.
now it's coming. All right. So now these questions ain't as deep, right? These are a little bit more fun. We're
Okay.
underway. It's the ship. It's Saturday night. Are you looking forward to the pizza or the wings?
Ooh.
Remember those?
Ah, wings.
The
Wings.
wings.
I feel
All
like
right.
the wings. Yeah.
All right. Hey
Yeah.
man, I don't know about you, but for me, pizza and wings now was always something to look forward to on this shit, man. I like
No, but look. I was more of the steak. I loved it when we had the steak and stuff. But no, but pizza and wings was always good.
it. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I got two places you can go. You want the birthing cleaner or the working party?
Ooh, birthing cleaner for sure. Birthing cleaner for sure. For sure.
I got you. Remember those working parties on the Ashland though?
The working part, but then as I look back, I'm like, but the working parties were lit because everybody was out there. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like you were out.
Music. Yeah. All right. We're gonna watch a movie. Would you rather watch a De Niro movie or a Pacino movie?
Ooh, De Niro.
Okay.
De Niro.
What was your favorite duty station when you were in the military?
San Diego.
Okay.
Same
Yep.
32nd Street.
All right. What was your favorite Liberty port?
Ooh, ha! Thailand. Thailand.
I'm mad at you for that. I grew up out there too. I get it.
Yep.
All right. What was the hardest qualification you ever achieved when you were in the service?
Sure. Oh man. When I went to I'm drawing a blank on the name, but it was for the LCS. It wasn't air traffic control, but I'm drawing a blank, but it was like air traffic control school for like
Okay.
planes and stuff like that. I'm drawing a blank.
Was
Yeah.
it I know what you're talking about, Aztec or something like that?
Aztec. Yes, that was the hardest school. Oh my. You said qualification, so that's under qualification. That was the
That'll
hardest,
work. Yeah,
man. Oh
that'll
my,
work.
that was rough.
That was a rough one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. If you had the chance to do it again, would you go overseas or stateside?
Overseas.
Overseas.
For
A
sure.
lot of it. That's why I did so much time overseas, bro. Because not for nothing, I like that comfortability and all that stability and all that. Eventually, once I
Yeah.
stopped fighting it.
Yeah.
All right. What's your favorite movie series?
Oh, that's a good one. A movie series.
Yeah, because nowadays it ain't just trilogies or
Yeah.
sequels. It's damn series.
Yeah. Man, I would say Back to the Future.
Love it, bro. That's in my top 5 for sure. Back to
For
the
sure.
Future. I still remember watching Back to the Future 2 in the drive-in theater with my parents, and they showed at the end of the movie, they showed the first ever cut scene for the next movie, Back to the Future 3. I
Really?
about lost my damn mind in that movie theater. Back to the Future been doing cut scenes before
Yeah.
Marvel ever got to the game. You know what I'm saying?
I know that had to be an experience in for
Oh,
sure.
bro, it was huge, man. You couldn't believe it. Especially after Back to the Future 2 was like hoverboards and all that. That
Mm-hmm.
was crazy. And
Yep.
then now they on Cowboys and Indians stuff. What?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Crazy. All right. Independent or on a team?
On the team for sure.
Okay. On a
Oh,
team
yeah.
for sure. Do you have a personal leadership philosophy? Is it going to be your philosophy about focus on the present?
I would say separate your head from your heart.
Mm. Okay. Separate your head from your heart.
Yeah. And just dive in. I feel like, you know, in life is especially in, just say for instance in my field, right? You have to have thick skin, right? And I feel like in a world where we live in, first of all, that's hard anyway. And especially as a creator, when we are doing when we're working on something and we have a baby or something that we're really passionate about, it's a thing to remember that everybody is not going to feel the same way. And I say even in the Navy, you might be feeling like you busting your ass and doing good, and then you might get, you know, your chief might come in and might criticize something that you've done. You know what I mean? And so at that moment, like, no, don't take it personal. Don't get butthurt. Don't, you know, don't let that deter you or, you know, knock you off your balance. But just take it, you know, take it for what it is, learn from it, listen or whatever, and see how you can apply that better. But I feel like if we are too wrapped in our emotions, I feel like we can't leave that space to really take in what we need to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Not everything got to be personal for sure.
Yeah.
Right. Not everything got to be personal. And don't take everything personal for sure. And to your point, I like to take things and make them real logical, real quick. And then once I got 2 logical choices, then I'll choose in my heart. But
Right.
I'll get the best choices, the clarity I need using my head and use men lie, women lie, numbers don't, right? So
For sure.
even though we all know nowadays that numbers can be rigged.
Yeah, yes, that is true.
We know. That's what my man was telling us back then. Jay-Z was telling us then.
Yeah.
Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. So okay, he's gonna show the world that he can make the numbers work.
Yeah.
And there you go. That's it. Free game. Pick it up.
Facts.
Pick it up. All right. So in the Navy, in the Chiefs mess, we have deck plate leadership, institutional technical expertise, professionalism, character, loyalty, active communication, or a sense of heritage. Out of those things that I just listed off, which one of those resonates with you the most?
That was a lot.
Okay, same again?
Yeah, if you say it one more time.
All right. Deck plate leadership, so it's like leading from the front. Institutional technical expertise. It means knowing the craft plus understanding why you do the craft.
Mm-hmm.
Professionalism, character, loyalty, active communication, or a sense of heritage, or like never forgetting where you come from.
And you say I could only choose one?
Yeah, choose one of those.
I think I would say character.
There you go.
Yeah, character.
That's it.
Yeah.
Simple, right? If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything, bro. Right? It's just that simple. All right. Would you rather lead or follow?
Off the top of the head, I would say lead. Yeah.
I'm not surprised. You should want to. You should want to lead. That's okay. All right, man. That's it. Do you have any other things you'd like to talk about before we wrap it up?
Oh man. Nothing much to talk about. Would it be cool to kind of promote my film? I know because now you got me wanting to like to talk about it and like, you know, just out there to people here. But no, so just let you, because I know we were talking about it. But like I said, I'm working on a feature film right now called Within Strength, and it is it's a story about masculinity, trauma, and legacy, and it's about like what we inherit and what we pass down, and not only through blood but through silence, choices and fear. And it's about a father terrified of failing his son and a son slowly becoming the man his father never wanted to be. And the film is going to ultimately ask the question, you know, what happens when men don't heal? You know what I mean? So it's heavy, and it's a heavy military veteran story, father and son story, and mental health type story.
Okay. And why is it important for you that the film is set back home in Tennessee?
Well, because as I was writing the film, I realized that this film was basically all of me. And I took different aspects of my life, and I even took aspects from the time that I was in Japan and my shipmates that I was on the ship with. But what makes it important to shoot it in Memphis is because as I'm writing the film, a lot of the places are locations that I picked being in Memphis. So it's that, and it's just the whole aspect of, I feel like the South, of course, has a different feel from what we're, you know, like once you get in the industry and once you look up, you realize that half of the stuff that is shot and put out is set or is shot in LA, even if it's set in another state or city. A lot of stuff is shot in LA. So when you look at a lot of the films and whatnot, the landscape, it kind of feels like, oh, I've seen this before. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But like you say, I don't know if you've seen Sinners, right? But you take that, like they go down to Louisiana and shoot, and it's just a different feel, like that Southern feel. So with this being my first feature film, I'm like, okay, I want it to feel different. I want, you know, the first two films were set and shot in California. So I'm like, okay, I want something different. I want a different feel, that Southern feel. And like I said, once it comes to the whole point of like budget and just how much it will cost to make something like that happen, it will be cheaper out there.
And I'm sure it's going to be therapeutic too, bro, just to be out there doing it like what you always wanted to be doing, creating in your hometown, in those areas that you got connections to, such a connection to that you wrote them into this storyline, right? You're so connected to these particular areas that they landed in your script as you're trying to tell the story of a father and a son and mental health. I mean, so many good things there, bro, that I think that it's definitely going to resonate with the people. I think it's going to resonate with a lot of different people. It's just you got to figure out the best way to share it with the world. And what's the name of the story again?
Within Strength. So a play off of Strength Within. Okay, Within
Strength. Yeah. Because look, I mean, unfortunately, a lot of men they try so hard to be strong all the time, but they forget that it takes a lot to be that strong.
Especially military veterans, and then that's one thing I play heavy into, because the film takes place in 2008. You know, during the time of the recession and whatnot, and especially during a time where therapy wasn't, I feel like in 2008, therapy wasn't talked about as much as it is now. It was more like, okay, you say you're going to therapy, some people might look at you like you got issues or like you crazy or something like that. So definitely.
Good, man. I look forward to seeing you do more things to big up the movie, bro, to big up the project, because you got to get in front of the people that are looking for you.
For sure.
All right, man. Hey, I appreciate it, bro. You take care of yourself, okay?
For sure. You do too, man. And thank you so much for having me again. And like I said, I love what you got going on, man, with this podcast.
Hey, thank you, bro. I appreciate you sharing the time, the energy, everything. I'm a fan. We're going to do this again after it come out, bro.
For sure. All right. I'm looking forward to it. All right, man. Have a good rest.
All right, peace.
And I know I was born for this. I know I was born for this. Don't care for the critics, my words are like physics, a force that they can't stop. They just don't get it, I think they forget I'm not done till I'm on top. I know I was born for this. I know